Look closely at the three children who are standing in this photo. They are among at least 20,000 Sudanese refugees from the Tandelti administrative unit in West Darfur. That's their home, but in this photo, they are not at home. They are in a place known as Kufrum in Chad. They have crossed over into this troubled country in search of peace, refuge, and security. In this other photo, in 2020, some of these refugees were amongst the people who protested against insecurity and insufficient basic services on a daily basis. Across Africa, in both rural and urban places, there are millions of Africans who are also experiencing insufficient security, insufficient provision of basic services on a daily basis. Whether it's Hillbrow in South Africa, the Central Business District in Nairobi, or Oroshki, a Lagos suburb, insecurity often rears its ugly head on a daily basis, and in the process destabilizing hundreds of thousands. Of course, there's insecurity in New York, Paris, and London, but we're talking about Africa here. It's our house that we're talking about. But we're talking about Africa here not to demonize ourselves, but to deal with the root causes of this insecurity. Unless we do so, then the plight of these three Sudanese children will become commonplace in Africa, and we cannot afford to go that direction. What are these root causes of insecurity? In 2020, when West Darfur residents staged a sit-in in Tandelti, they were demanding, amongst other things, the removal of the Sirba Security Committee that consisted of army officers, rapid support forces, paramilitaries, and police officers. Instead of ensuring and enforcing the security of local residents, this committee was making things worse. And therein lies the tragedy of many African municipalities, towns, and communities. The very leaders that are supposed to ensure security and prosperity are often the root cause of insecurity and insufficiency, poverty. This reminds me of what Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's revolutionary president, once said in the mid-80s. The enemies of the people inside the country are all those who have taken advantage of their social position and their bureaucratic position to enrich themselves illicitly. Africa must take a long, hard look at these real enemies of the people. Sadly, tragically, many African leaders at both local levels and national levels fall in this category of real enemies of the people. It's no wonder that just like Sudan, we keep taking one step forward and two steps backward. We owe good governance bereft of corruption to these three Sudanese children and millions of children across Africa. It is up to the more than 1 billion Africans who live on this great continent to ensure and enforce good governance that stems from African values and culture.